We're going to move right now into our first plenary session. The first session is the Kidney Wellness Hub, Empowering Kidney Patients, exploring the potential of the Kidney Wellness Hub to enhance patient well-being. And I'm going to ask Pia Schindler, the Executive Director of the Kidney Foundation of BC and Yukon, to come to open the session, and then Deborah Tucker will take over from there.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks to the committee for giving me just an opportunity to say a few words about Heather Johnson. Many of you knew Heather Johnson as the Director of Programs for the BC Yukon Branch of the Kidney Foundation, and I know she was widely known in the kidney community and in the renal community. As is often the case where you don't find out till later, we've been shown over and over through the reactions from the community what an impact Heather had on the lives of so many patients who reached out to her through the Kidney Foundation over the years. She had an impact on so many levels, and I thought I might reminisce just a wee bit. I know I took up a minute coming up here. She was instrumental in implementing the newly minted living organ donor expense reimbursement program over 16 years ago, which came to life just after she started. And she kept her eye on that program vigilantly, keeping gentle pressure and sometimes not so gentle pressure on us at the branch to ensure additional progress and gaps were addressed over the years. Well known, of course, to all the renal social workers here today, she also expanded our short-term financial assistance program, lobbying us internally to find funding for the Northern Travel Program, the dental program, for example. And of course, kidney suites grew to 7 suites that we have today, plus the kidney condo in Nanaimo. Over the years, she would say to me, I'll let you know what we need. You just figure out how to pay for it. And that's how Heather rolled. Heather was a straight shooter. You always knew where you stood with her, as likely many of you who have dealt with Heather over the years would come to know. I'm sure there was never a doubt in anyone's mind, however, that Heather championed kidney patients, full stop. And as I've said likely a million times over the years, if I ever would have needed anyone to advocate for me, it would have been Heather. Now, here's just a couple things you may not have known about our esteemed colleague. Besides having a passion for fairness and equity and these matters, she was like a dog with a bone. Actually, we always said she could have been a litigator if she hadn't have been director of programs. She would have cleaned up in that area. But Heather could also have been an editor. And in fact, her attention to detail was legendary because there's probably no high-profile document that went out of the branch without her having her eagle eye on it first. She was, without a doubt, one of the most well-read individuals I've ever come across. She could carry on a conversation or have an opinion on anything under the sun like no one I've ever known. And then there was her love of dogs, of course, her beloved Lily, who came to the office once a week. And one final note, not sure where this comes from, but Heather had this passion for Halloween like nobody else on the planet. And she would make the team dress up, whether you wanted to or not. And believe me, I did not want to. So we're happy and proud that Mike, I don't know if this is a secret. No. It's that you nominated her for the Wilma Crockett Award, which her brother will receive on her behalf today. At the end of the day, Heather was, and she still remains, the conscience of our branch. That is her legacy. The challenge at all times to keep the wheel going. And she was part of the kidney wellness. She would have been here today. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Pia. Heather believed in this project so deeply, and as you said, would have been here today. She was integral to the working group, so to Heather. Good morning, everyone. My name is Deborah Tucker. I look after the communications and marketing at the Kidney Foundation, BC and Yukon Branch. And I'd first like to thank the BC Kidney Days Organizing Committee for inviting the Kidney Foundation and our panel of experts here today to talk about the Kidney Wellness Hub and how it's going to enhance patient well-being. It truly is our distinct honor to be here. So as you can see on the slide, these are some of the topics that we hope to cover in the next 45 minutes, give or take, followed by a short Q&A. And as Dr. Copeland was saying, we're going to use Slido for the Q&A, and I think you've got all of that information on your table. We have a quick poll coming up, and we're going to be using Slido for that too. And I think I'm supposed to say statement of disclosure. I have nothing to disclose, well, with respect to this conversation or this presentation anyhow. So I'm going to start today with a brief overview of the Kidney Wellness Hub, some of the key features, some of the early findings, and then I'm going to introduce and invite my colleagues to speak on various sections, bring it to life with some tips and tools and how you might use this resource in your practice. Plus, we've got some videos interspersed throughout from kidney patients and in some cases their care partners, and they're going to share what matters to them when it comes to their overall health and well-being. And last, but certainly not least, I'm delighted that we've got one of our patients here, that you'll see him in the video, but we've actually got him here in the room, and he's going to talk a little bit about his experience with the Kidney Wellness Hub, in addition to a little bit more about his story. But to start things off, we've got a very quick poll. So the question is, have any of you had a chance to check out the Kidney Wellness Hub? Just yes or no. I'll give you a few seconds. Oh. Okay. Well, this is great you're here. We've got 77% said no, so fantastic. Hopefully by the end of this session, you'll know a little bit more about the Kidney Wellness Hub. For those that of you have checked it out, hopefully you'll walk away with a few additional tips and tools and how it can support your patients. So I want to start with just a little bit of background, give a little context to the Kidney Wellness Hub. The foundation, we regularly connect in with our kidney community to better understand the needs of those we serve, how we can support and complement patient care and resources. I want to say that the kidney community was very much the driver behind the Kidney Wellness Hub. We did a survey in late 2020, 800 patients, care partners, and healthcare providers. You can see on the screen a few of our key findings. There was definitely stress, increased anxiety, isolation, a huge need to connect. We're going to hear that word a lot today. Connect with others in the community, people who get it. And a need for resources, particularly around health and well-being. Now, you may say, yes, the timing of this survey was just as we're getting into COVID, and that's true. But we also heard this sort of information through various mechanisms leading up to COVID. So the foundation secured funding from the Ministry of Health in 2021, and in 2022, we launched the Kidney Wellness Hub. So what did we launch? The Kidney Wellness Hub is a free, interactive online platform to support the overall well-being, physical, emotional, and social well-being of our patients and their support network. And I just loved what Audrey said this morning because it rings and resonates so true. A very holistic approach to caring for our bodies, mind, and soul. Now, I want to say the Kidney Wellness Hub is not a medical site. It is lifestyle and wellness, and it's really intended to complement the advice and support of a patient's healthcare team. What makes it unique, you might ask, from all the other sites that you can Google out there? Well, we like to think that it's kidney customized videos, tools, resources, some of which you're going to see in just a few minutes. And it's in the areas of staying active, eating well, socially connecting, and mental well-being. I should also add that, in particular, this resource can support the newly diagnosed. And as we all know, maintaining a healthy lifestyle may help slow down the progression, or in some cases, actually even help avoid kidney failure. So at the end of the day, what we want to create is an inclusive and welcoming space where patients and their support network can come together and build a sense of a community virtually. And I want to stress, we did not build this in isolation. We reached out to many of you in this room, to our patients, to care partners, and they really guided us every step along the way. Content, design, huge. And I also want to say that we really engaged with our renal stakeholders, because the one thing we didn't want to do was duplicate any resources that are currently out there. We really want to work together and complement. So as I said earlier, we've been launched just over a year, and what we're here today to do, and one of our big strategies, is to reach people who could benefit from this resource. And we've been sharing the resource with renal stakeholders throughout the clinics, and thank you to some of you who have been helping refer patients to the hub. It's fantastic. 11,000 people have visited the site already and counting. And the pie chart that you see gives you a quick overview of who's using the hub right now. So around 71% patients, and that's great, but we've also got a healthy showing of care partners and volunteers and living donors and healthcare providers too. We have done a 1-year evaluation and we're seeing positive impacts. Patients are saying they're seeing the value of the hub, they would recommend it to their peers, but most importantly, it's motivating them, building confidence and understanding of how to better support their overall well-being. And very quickly, as we move into 2024, 2025, we want to ensure that the Wellness Hub reflects the diversity of our kidney community. And this means many things. It can mean, as we move forward, adding content in other languages to reach our high-risk populations. In addition, we really want to have a focus as we move forward on Indigenous patient populations. And we've started some of those conversations already with our Indigenous community leaders, First Nations Health Authority, many of patients, BC Renal, CanSolve, etc. And our goal going forward is to ensure we engage in a collaborative and culturally safe way to learn, to share, and create culturally safe content. So with that, I'm going to now invite my colleagues to speak about the various sections of the Kidney Wellness Hub. But before each speaker, we're going to play a very short video. The first section, I'm very pleased to introduce Dr. Megan Borkum, who is going to speak about the importance of staying active. Dr. Borkum is a nephrologist from South Africa. She has completed a hypertension fellowship with the University College London, advanced nephrology training, and home dialysis fellowships with UBC and the Harvard Medical School Global Clinical Scholars Research Training Program in 21-22. Dr. Borkum is currently a BC Renal Research Scholar. Her interests include home dialysis and cardiometabolic disease reduction in chronic kidney disease. Dr. Borkum has also been so generous in lending her time and expertise to the Kidney Wellness Hub, in addition to hosting a webinar with Dr. Mike Bebalacqua. So before I turn it over to you, Dr. Borkum, I will ask you to join me in watching this quick video on staying active. Cue video 1, please.
There's a lot of things with dialysis that are challenging. My biggest challenge is my mood swings. I have a lot of uneven kind of emotional changes throughout my day. Fatigue is the biggest one. I'm always constantly out of breath on any sort of exertion. So if I do a flight of stairs, I'm lacking the oxygen that I need a lot of times. I'm always thirsty and I'm always hungry. And I've gained about 20 pounds since I started dialysis. And it's a lot to do with overeating and lack of exercise. I don't exercise at all anymore. I just find that I get tired. I'm a little bit lazy. And so it's a day-to-day kind of challenge. If I could go back, if I could speak to myself in the past now and teach myself one thing, if you're being diagnosed that your kidneys are dropping, get very, very serious about your health. Right now, I just kind of wing it. If I'm in the mood to go for a walk, I'll go for a walk. But if somebody said, all you have to do is start with 5 minutes, and then the next day you're going to do 7, and the next day you do 20, and so on and so forth. You have to do 1 flight of stairs a day, like where there was an actual process given to me, or a program given to me, and then somebody that kept me accountable. I know that we should be accountable for ourselves, but human nature, sometimes it doesn't always lead us in that direction. But, I'm grateful for the help I get at the hospital and the nursing staff, and I'm doing okay.
Thanks, Deb, for that introduction. So we all know that exercise is good for us, at least I hope we all do. But what about our kidney patients? So Dave's video echoed for us what's important to our patients: life participation, feeling good, and alleviating those nasty symptoms we all know and don't love associated with kidney disease. Luckily for us, there's a growing interest in this area with a barrage of studies and meta-analyses coming out about the evidence-proven benefits of exercise in kidney patients. Aside from the medical benefits, we know that exercise helps relieve symptoms of depression, improves functional capacity, as well as some domains of physical function and quality of life, and has some evidence to improve fatigue, pain, and restless legs, all those horrible symptoms. So, exercise is a medicine. Why aren't we prescribing it? Importantly, literature also recognizes that there are barriers, both for patients and providers. Patients are anxious, they're scared, they don't know if they can exercise, and they're tired. Providers have other care priorities like phosphates and hemoglobin, and also they feel that they're not experts in exercise, so maybe they're not the right person to be discussing it with the patients. But studies have also shown that discussing exercise, opening the discussion with your patients, saying, have you thought about exercise? Do you exercise? Can we talk about exercise? Is an important first step to overcoming these barriers. The best place to start, as some of you might be asking, is with low-impact exercises. Low-impact exercises are things such as swimming, walking, or stationary cycling. In this way, patients can build their cardiorespiratory fitness while not putting too much strain on their body and can stay motivated because they'll make slow but steady progress towards their goal. The ultimate goal being, as you can see in the star there, moderate intensity aerobic activity of 150 minutes a week, as well as 2 times a week doing muscle strengthening exercises. Patients should also be encouraged, like in Dave's video, to build exercise into their day. So maybe taking the stairs instead of the elevator or parking far from the entrance to the shop. If they build it up slowly, there's no doubt they can realistically achieve these goals. Lucky for us, including the Kidney Wellness Hub, there's a lot of content available online, both for patients and providers. For all the providers here, I do encourage you to become members of the Global Renal Exercise Network, the GREX network. Membership is free, and there's really interesting, informative webinars and lots of content on exercise on their platform. I personally, and this is true, send a lot of my patients links for the Kidney Wellness Hub. There they have an online free kidney-specific exercise classes catering to a wide variety of fitness levels and applicable to patients at all stages in their kidney journey, so dialysis, transplant, as well as people at all levels of chronic kidney disease. There's a lot of choice. There's yoga, there's dance, there's cardiorespiratory fitness, and there's even low mobility chair exercise classes, which is great for people with challenges in mobility and getting moving. One of the really good things is that the instructors for the classes, a lot of them are kidney patients themselves, so they can understand the challenges firsthand that our patients face. And I think this gives them a lot more emphasis and intuition on what patients need. Patients also can access the Staying Active Forum, where there's a lot of webinars and other content for them to explore, and they can pose questions directly to the experts. So, just to clarify, exercise does not cost a lot of money. It does not need to take a lot of space. You can exercise from a chair for free in your bedroom. Anyone on the team can start the conversation with your patients. Unfortunately, we wish locally that we had more exercise professionals on our team, but we don't, maybe one day. But I think the impetus on us, as well as discussing nutrition and medication management, is also discussing these lifestyle elements. And physical activity, as I've shown you, is one of those very, very important components. And again, there is evidence, which is growing, that exercise is safe for virtually all kidney patients. And this includes people on peritoneal dialysis. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions that have evolved over the recent years. So we really should be encouraging all our patients. Exercise is a medicine and so much more. So please check out the Kidney Wellness Hub, share it with your patients, and I promise you they will start moving as a result. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Borkum. I mean, we all intuitively know the benefits of movement and exercise, but I love the tip. Exercise is medicine, prescribe it. And I know in our conversations, you definitely do that with your patients. And you talk also about the many resources, the many options for everyone, no matter where a patient is on their journey. And we've talked about how it can be intimidating at first, but taking it slow and putting it down into bite-sized pieces. And we've also talked about coming up on the Wellness Hub. We're really excited. We've got a new Walking to Wellness program launching soon. And the benefits of walking cannot be underestimated. So Dr. Borkum connected us with some great student kinesiologists who are helping us to design and build the program. And anyone interested in learning more, be sure to check us out in our interactive room, the Granville room, the Kidney Wellness Hub interactive room, where we've got more information that we'd be delighted to share. So thank you again, Dr. Borkum. The next section that we're going to explore on the Kidney Wellness Hub is eating well. And joining me today to speak to this piece is the dynamic dietitian duo, Dani Renouf and Anja Webster. Dani is a registered dietitian with over 20 years of experience working with patients and clients in chronic disease prevention and management. Currently, Dani works as the provincial lead dietitian for the BC Renal Dietitians Group and is the renal resource dietitian at St. Paul's Hospital and the chair of British Columbia's Renal Dietitians Practice Group. Anja is a clinical dietitian working at St. Paul's Hospital in the post-kidney transplant clinic and has experience working in multiple renal modalities. Through her experience in the renal department, she's offered a number of cooking classes specifically geared to patients with kidney disease. She loves listening to stories about food and finding ways to make all foods fit into the individual diet. Dani and Anja have been integral to the launch of a cooking series on the Kidney Wellness Hub to support patients to eat well. They will share more about this and other tips and tools to help your patients maintain a good kidney diet. First, though, we have this video.
4 years ago, his kidneys started to decrease, rapidly. And at that time, when he was diagnosed of, chronic kidney disease, he didn't follow any diet, to be honest. We're from Peru. In Peru, we eat very well. So he was eating a lot. In the first session, the dietitian, gave a huge list. In the list that says you should take in moderation, he took it as I shouldn't be eating. We were terrified, my mom, my sister, myself, we were terrified to cook for him, because we didn't know. So it's kind of educating ourselves too, as a family member. And sometimes Dr. Google, is not the best source. It's not, because you have so much information that you get overwhelmed. So that's the struggle that we were having with him, just to make him eating, and he's losing too much weight. So he's so strict with his diet because he doesn't want to get to the point of going to the dialysis, So, and 1 week before the blood test, oh my God, he doesn't eat anything. You have to talk to us how you feel, because that's the only way that we can help you. It's a journey. It's the journey of the whole family.
I just listened to Milagros' story for, the 5th or 6th time, probably. I've watched this video a few times, and it's just such a similar story to what we have heard over the years from both patients and their families when it comes to kidney-friendly diets. And there's just so much confusion, frustration, and really misinformation out there. So I think that communication strategies are so, so important when it comes to educating people around nutrition and just inviting them into this world of healthy eating for your kidneys. There's so much room for miscommunication because of language barriers as well, and I think we need to honor the diverse cultures that we serve in our province, and to acknowledge that we need to adjust our communication strategies accordingly.
Yeah, and like we've noticed, as Milagros was saying, there's so much fear associated with food and eating. And we've had more than one patient or patient partner come into our office and say they're afraid they're going to kill their spouse or their partner because of what they're going to feed them. And that has to do with a lot of misinformation, and many patients, for example, avoiding nutritious foods like fruits and vegetables because they're so afraid that they're going to spike up their potassium levels.
That's so true. So there, you heard how he would just stop eating right before the blood work. This is really hard to hear, but on a positive note, I think what we're so excited about and what we love doing is to bring people together over food. It's such a connector, and food is medicine. I think all of us appreciate that concept, but it's so much more than that. It's culture, it's joy, it's being together, it's just enjoying good taste, and also knowing that you're nourishing yourself. So we're really glad the new literature has kind of come around, because it wasn't fun giving out lists. Like, we didn't love it either, right? So the new literature is showing that a holistic approach that's culturally diverse is actually better for outcomes. And it's the, surprise, surprise, processed food content that is resulting in problems with potassium and phosphate and just overall health. So that's something that we're really excited to embrace.
We know nutrition is complex. There's definitely no black or white. We live in the gray zone, or what we like to call the colorful plate zone of nutrition information. And we really want to do as much as we can as health professionals to lower anxiety and fear around eating for our patients. So what we prefer to do, as what you heard in Milagros' story, is they get lists of what they cannot eat or foods that they're avoiding and they're so afraid. We really want to emphasize foods that patients can eat. And rather than taking foods away, what can we add? One easy thing that you can take home today and tell your patients is to actually eat more fruits and vegetables. As you'll learn with some of the later talks today and tomorrow, we know that fresh fruits and vegetables actually aren't impacting potassium as much as we once thought. So every patient can get more fiber by including fruits and vegetables, either through frozen or fresh fruits from the store. Also, if we look at Milagro's story, it's something I'm sure every health provider has faced when a patient comes in and says, well, I Googled this and I learned this, and okay, so then we have to take a step back and we need to have as many resources as we can that are evidence-based and support our patients. We know the BC Renal website has lots of handouts, but today specifically, we want to take you to the Kidney Wellness Hub.
We're just like beyond excited to host this cooking show. We love cooking and we love spending time together. So I think it's just a privilege and an honor to be able to do this. But really what we love as well, and what we didn't realize we would connect with so much, is our patients, because now people can tune in over Zoom. They can talk with a dietitian and cook with a dietitian. Believe it or not, people enjoy that sort of thing. And so we're engaging with our patients. We're learning from them. They're learning from us. It's a really great relationship. And everyone seems very engaged. I think people are engaged because I think
we're so fun.
We're so fun. But also our recipes are simple. You know, we don't take complicated ingredients. We take ingredients that are budget friendly, that are accessible, that are easy to use, and we don't spend a lot of time fussing over the cooking process. We keep the cooking process really simple. So I think that's really key. And so everything's on budget, everything's nutritious, it's safe to eat, and it's easy to put together.
And as a little reminder, later today in your breakout sessions, we have come up with a Come Cook With Us cookie to get you through with high fiber, high protein, so it'll help you get through to the happy hour. The awards, not just the bar and food, later on in the sessions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dani and Anja. Yes, let's not forget those kidney-friendly cookies in the breakout section. And I will add, the recipe is on the Kidney Wellness Hub if you're interested. So, you know, what you said, we here at the Foundation too, patients and caregivers, I can be a little bit nervous about what to eat, what to cook. But I really loved what you said about bringing the joy back into cooking, and to focus on what you can have is so important. And I know from the feedback we've been getting from patients and caregivers attending the cooking classes, you guys are knocking it out of the park. They're doing just that. They're walking away with all sorts of great tips and tools and feel a real increased sense of confidence on what they should be doing in the kitchen. So kudos, thank you to that. The other exciting thing is we've been talking about the lineup of classes for 2024, what we want to do with the cooking classes, and building in some delicious cultural varied dishes, and maybe even having patients be guests on the show and to cook and to share along with you. So we're really excited. We've got planning to do.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Okay, well, lots more exciting pieces on the horizon in the cooking series. But we're going to move along now to mental well-being. And as many of us know, adopting or making changes towards a healthier lifestyle can be hard. So it was important for us when we were developing the Kidney Wellness Hub that we built in support tools to help patients on their wellness journey, help them set goals and stick to them. And how did we do that? Well, we met Francine Gosselin. Francine is a registered social worker and has worked in renal services with the Island Health for 6 years, and in this time has supported hundreds of individuals living with or affected by kidney disease. Francine has extensive experience working with people who are facing significant life transitions, health challenges, and personal challenges. Francine is a co-active life coach, and she is passionate about helping people find their power and focuses her attention on what matters most to those she is supporting. That's why we were so thrilled when Francine agreed to help us build a customized kidney wellness coaching program. So here she is to share a little bit more about that and how to talk to your patients to help support their mental well-being. I turn it over to you, Francine, but first we'll watch this patient caregiver video.
Looking after yourself day to day or week to week or whatever is going on in your my world, or your world at that time, again, mental well-being is paramount. To look after myself, it would be either a walk to the water, again, to let those feelings and emotions go if they're, guilt or whatever it was, or walking along the river. Same idea of water. Water is a very cleansing vessel for us. There are different forms of cleansing, and it goes right to the fact that usually the person knows what he wants. I need to be cedar brushed. And again, that was arranged that would happen for me. And I was taken down to the sacred room and cedar brushed, and my nephrologist got brushed. It's self-care, just self-care.
As the caregiver, you're just overwhelmed with all of the information that's coming at you and trying to figure out what questions to ask, and you're it's really overwhelming, and you do feel isolated and alone quite often. In order to cope with that, you have to make sure that you keep yourself mentally stable and find other ways of finding things to clear your mind almost. So I had been belly dancing for a while, and the girls there were really, really good. As soon as Michael failed, the first thing they said is, "What can we do? How can we help? We're here." And a lot of times it was just going to dance class was that time for me. I refused to give up my Thursday night dance class because it was my time, my special time.
We found, both of us, Sharon and myself, what we found was for mental well-being, when it came to any type of diagnosis, blood work, learning what those numbers and everything else meant in your blood work. What is the GFR? What is the creatinine? What is that? And as time went on, we learned. So we knew whether it was going backwards or forwards or stable. It was all important to learn. That's good for my mental health and my mental well-being. Power is knowledge. Knowledge is power.
All right, thank you. As Chief Rakalma says, mental well-being is paramount. When patients are able to achieve mental well-being, they are more capable of engaging in their healthcare journey. They can more easily receive information and learn how to manage their condition. And with the right information and support, this also helps them set goals that align with their values and their wishes. On the flip side, when patients' mental well-being is poor, it can be challenging for them to receive information and to adhere to treatment plans. As we know, people living with chronic kidney disease can experience higher rates of depression and anxiety. Our patients' mental health can be impacted by factors such as symptom burden, isolation, information overload, concern about their future, and more. And of course, care partners can also face their own burnout and mental health challenges, and they need their own support, as Sharon was able to describe. Not to mention that people affected by kidney disease are also just still regular people with regular responsibilities beyond their medical situation. I know I'm preaching to the choir here when I say that acknowledging and supporting people's mental health well-being is providing good health care, and that it's important to support the whole human behind the condition. Every patient is unique, even if their diagnoses and symptom presentation is familiar to us. I also know how stretched our healthcare system is. I'm working in it too. And I recognize that so much amazing work is already being done by Renal Services to support patients by all of you. But even still, I thought I'd share some simple ideas that I use in my practice to help support the mental well-being of patients and their care partners. Number 1, connect and acknowledge. I know it sounds obvious, but the power of saying, Hi, Jim. It's Francine, the social worker. How are you? It cannot be underestimated. Patients meet endless care providers, and their minds are often overwhelmed. Especially with mask wearing that's coming back into play, patients may not recognize us even if we've met them multiple times before. Acknowledging patients and their care partners can provide grounding to enable them to breathe and then be ready for what's next. Number 2, see your patients for the unique individuals that they are. Get curious about what gives your patients quality of life, what motivates them, and what their goals are. A simple question you can ask is, beyond the medical, what would you like us, your care team, to know about you? Then document this information where you and your team can see it. Number 3, acknowledge the importance of mental well-being and connect patients to resources. We want to let patients know that we care about the whole person, not just their lab work. This could be done by saying, I want to acknowledge what you are going through can be very hard. Who or what is supporting you on your journey? And then beyond what coping strategies the patient can identify for themselves, because often they know what they need, we can also refer them to amazing programs like the Wellness Hub. There they can sign up to receive self-guided wellness journals. You all have one in front of you on the table, so have a look. And they can also view live and recorded webinars, as you've already heard a little bit about today. There are even some to improve mental well-being, such as laughter yoga, music therapy, tapping for stress reduction, breathing exercises, meditation, and much more. There are also the free individual wellness coaching sessions that I have the pleasure of leading, designed for those who might be feeling a little more stuck or need a bit more time to figure out what their goals are and come up with a plan to work towards wellness. Some of these ideas will be discussed more in the breakout session this afternoon on collaborative goal setting. So if you're coming then, we'll be talking more about that. Ultimately, we need our patients to be mentally well so that they have the ability to communicate what is important to them now and in their future. When we know what matters to our patients, this informs the entire care planning process to yield better patient outcomes and better provider experiences. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine. I just want to read back one of the quotes from a patient in response to your wellness coaching, and it was on the screen a moment ago, but she said, after my last session with the wellness coach, I felt a lift of a heavy burden I'd been feeling. I realized more what my needs are and will go and do those things I need to do for my well-being. And we received lots of feedback that shared very similar sentiments. So that's what it's all about. Through your wellness coaching, patients are feeling supported in understanding what's important to them, setting those realistic goals, and then having someone in their corner on their wellness journey. So fantastic, thank you. And I was just also going to mention, feel free to refer patients to the coaching, the free coaching that Francine talked about. And that's all on the website. Okay, socially connecting. What we've heard from patients consistently over the years is the need to feel, there it is again, that word, connected, to be understood. A transplant patient herself, Kate Chong, gets it. And she's been passionate about developing resources and peer engagement opportunities, which can be found on the Kidney Wellness Hub to help patients get and stay connected. Kate Chong is Director of Patient Programs at the Kidney Foundation. In addition to being part of the Kidney Wellness Hub project team, she is also dedicated to helping kidney patients here in the BC and Yukon through the Foundation's many programs and services, in addition to serving as a strong patient advocate. So Kate is going to tell us more about how to get your patients to stay socially connected right after this patient video.
My journey started a couple years ago, in May 2021, I was actually going through my final practicum as a student teacher, and I was like struggling a lot, like missing a lot of days. And my my mentor teacher, she actually encouraged me to like go see a doctor, and I did that night. And that night I had I am like a low functioning kidney patient, so that night it was like 12%. It was really scary. Sometimes it's hard to share with family like the things that's going on because you don't want to worry them. So like having other people to talk with is helpful, like that know the same things. I became a peer mentor because I wanted to be there for others who are in similar positions as I am. I know we all have different experiences, but I think it would be helpful to like share them with each other. Before I became a peer mentor, when dealing with like my kidney disease, I sometimes isolated myself just because I felt no one could understand what I was going through. Sometimes I just wouldn't talk about how I was doing because sometimes I wasn't doing okay. And I didn't want to talk about it because it was a lot.
Thanks to Brittany. As you can see, Brittany's journey is still very fresh. She recognized that she was isolating herself, and though her family was very supportive, she also recognized she needed connection with people who have been there and can relate and what she's going through. We cannot underestimate the power of connection. To engage with someone through a phone call or in a virtual group, the understanding that everyone's kidney journey is unique and different. There are still commonalities, and that there are others that just get it. Research shows that positive social connections and are good for our health, and those who feel connected to others may have reduced stress and lower levels in anxiety. And as we've just heard in our last section here, kidney patients quite often experience higher levels of stress and depression than the general population. I reflect on my own personal kidney journey. One of the first things I did after diagnosis was reach out to that kidney community. For me, it was therapeutic. It allowed me, it provided me guidance. Especially on those harder days, it provided me hope. And I knew that I had someone to reach out to and talk to. So no surprise, this is why I'm so passionate about what I do around peer engagement. And I'm so fortunate to work with all these amazing individuals with the Kidney Wellness Hub. In addition to, of course, many of our other programs and services to support kidney patients across BC and the Yukon. I have the pleasure of talking to kidney patients pretty much every day during my workday. And when they learn I too am a kidney patient and my wonderful husband was my living donor, being a patient, it helps for us talking and connecting and having those moments, just me and them even. So today, I want to take you guys through a few ways that you can help your patients connect to others and what is available through the Kidney Wellness Hub. So first is our one-to-one peer mentoring and support program. This isn't new, it's just really had a huge bump up with this amazing initiative and giving it kind of the legs that it truly deserves and needs. This is where we have trained, matched volunteers, peer mentors, that request one-to-one calls. So depending on that patient's needs, they may want to speak with a different volunteer, for example, if they're concerned about balancing work and treatments, and they can speak to someone who successfully managed their disease while working and having their career. We know from patients who have accessed these services that talking to others has been an important part of their learning to live with kidney disease. Our peer mentors can accommodate patients at different stages of their kidney journey, come from many different ethnic backgrounds, diverse age groups as well, and have the ability to speak some different languages as well. I should also add that our peer mentors are trained to redirect any patient questions that are medically based. So they are there to talk about their experiences. So if the topic does turn to that, they are recommended to speak back with their healthcare professionals. Recently, we shared with renal social workers. Many of your wonderful faces are here in the room, and I look forward to meeting all of you that I haven't been able to. That you guys are able to make, and this is really for all healthcare professionals. It doesn't have to be renal social workers, that's just who I talk to the most. But more or less, you guys can make referrals to us at the Wellness Hub or through the peer mentoring program now directly. It used to be where just the patients would call, and that can still happen, but sometimes that call never happens. So with the permission, of course, of your patients, you could submit to us directly, and we'll help that journey happen. Another great initiative we have is around our peer engagement groups. Several times a year, we are hosting a general networking session to bring together patients, caregivers, living donors to learn about the resources available, share insights, and join breakout groups to connect with others. We are also excited, we are working towards offering regular virtual meetup groups for newly diagnosed, those living with reduced kidney function, on dialysis, or post-transplant. In addition to also care partners and getting into some specifics like GN or PKD. The intent in these groups will be to offer strong bonds, offer support, and even friendship to each other as they travel through these kidney journeys together. Lastly, there are many wellness-related educational webinars and the social events on the Kidney Wellness Hub that patients can attend virtually. If your patients are on Facebook, the Kidney Wellness Hub has a Facebook group, which is also very great for kidney care patients. Really everybody, but also kidney care patients. There's also our Kidney Friends Circle on Facebook, which now has almost 500 members, which is a great way for anyone in the community to connect and to know they're not alone in this journey. And I see this every day on that group, people connecting through that, knowing that they are together. Please keep these peer mentoring and engagement opportunities in mind as resources to support your patients, also their caregivers, to stay connected. We know that journey with kidney disease can be isolating and lonely at times, but it doesn't have to be. While I have spoken to our programs that support patients to socially connect to one another, we are now going to hear about the Kidney Wellness Hub helps build a broader community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. So important what you said about let's not underestimate the power of connection. So building community, as I said at the beginning, this was one of the key areas, objectives of the Hub to do just that. And I'm very pleased to introduce Teresa Atkinson, who is a kidney transplant recipient and has undergone all forms of treatment in her 39 years of living with kidney disease. Background in project management, extensive volunteer experience, and years of lived experience. Teresa is dedicated to empowering others and fostering community. As project lead, Teresa's been integral to the development of the Hub, but from the very beginning, she always said, the Kidney Wellness Hub is about building community. So over to you, Teresa, to speak about why that's important after this video.
And I will say this to anybody, everybody's situation is different. However, the one thing that does remain is that kidney disease can become a very personal and somewhat isolating experience for those who don't have a large support structure or family or caretakers looking after them and helping them with this process. And so I quickly realized, I need to be around people that I can speak to, who are also going through what I'm experiencing, being an in-clinic hemodialysis patient. And so I got to know a lot of the other patients who are dialyzing at the same time as I was, 3 times a week. And we became very close, and we became very close friends after the fact. And we were there for each other. We were there to support each other when it came to emotional stresses, physical issues and ailments as well. even to the point of even carpooling one another to treatments together, because some of those individuals are older or not as mobile. And so we're able to help each other that way too. But having a foundational group of individuals that you can rely on to speak to share your feelings and emotions, somebody who understands what you're truly going through is very important. And I would say it was a very, very important factor of my recovery and my overall experience hemodialysis and getting into post-transplant as well too. I ended up creating my own peer group of patients I dialyze with. And, even some of the staff and nursing and doctors, we got really close in that period. And so that community engagement outside of the hemodialysis unit, outside of the renal clinic at times, is also a nice breath of fresh air. It's not always so serious. If I were to be able to go back in time and find and take advantage of the opportunities, the recently announced and released Kidney Wellness Hub, as well as the Kidney Foundation support of the Kidney Friends Circle group on the Facebook, has been amazing. And ever since then, we've had many, many individuals, whether caretakers, patients, signing up, joining these opportunities in these groups, and really connecting with others. And that's been a great success so far.
Well, I couldn't have said that better than Patrick did. 39 years ago, when I crashed into kidney disease, I woke up in ICU on PD. And my only question was, can I go home? And when the answer was yes, I thought, wow, this is good. No one needs to know I'm sick. I'm not in a wheelchair. Nobody can see this disease. If I'd have known then the power of community and the power of finding my peers, I might have saved myself a lot of years of isolation and hardship. It was only after I'd undergone 2 transplants, lost them, and was in a dialysis clinic that I was asked to run a coffee cart for that clinic, that I connected with the community. For me, being on hemodialysis was like having a job riding a roller coaster, only I don't like roller coasters. I couldn't get off, I couldn't take a break, and if not for my friends in the kidney community that supported me during that time, I might have had a very different outcome. This is why I'm so passionate about building community. I want every family living with kidney disease to know that besides the excellent care they receive from their medical team, there's a community to support them with living well with kidney disease. Now I have the privilege, I'm sorry, I missed one. This is why I'm passionate about building community. I want every family to know. After all, there's no cure for kidney disease. It's with us for life. But that means so are you as our care teams. You're part of our community too. Now I have the privilege of working with the Kidney Foundation on its Kidney Wellness Hub, which for me, as Deb said, is all about building community for patients, living donors, care partners, and of course you too. We're adding new classes all the time, and events, like on Friday nights, we have Art for Wellness. And Meg Garoche has Transforming Touch classes on Wednesday evening to help us with stress and relaxation. But we have a section on the Kidney Wellness Hub specifically for you. We wanted to make it easy for you to share the hub with your patients and their families. On this page, we have partner posters and informations you can print out, post in your clinics, or hand out to kidney patients and their care partners. This is where you're going to find the tips you've heard from our presentation today is on that page. Speaking of resources, we have a resources page, and as Deb says, we're not wanting to duplicate, so we've included trusted resources there from stakeholders like BC Renal, BC Transplant, CanSolve, and of course our funding partner, the Ministry of Health. just to name a few. If you're aware of any resources you think should be there, please send us an email and we'll be happy to add them. I hope you see the Kidney Wellness Hub as a valuable tool to help you support your patients and their families. To connect and learn more about the Kidney Wellness Hub or experience some of the activities like stress management I mentioned, or dancing with Tamara Graham, one of our patient partners, or your patient partners, I guess would be more accurate, stop by the interactive room. So please join us, become a member of the Kidney Wellness Hub community today. You're an integral part of our community, and we value your feedback and input as we build and grow this resource. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teresa. Just looking at the time, and we're running tight here, so we're bringing it home. And I'm very pleased to introduce our last panelist, David McKay. Yes, you may recognize David. He was featured in our Staying Active video, but he's kindly agreed to join us here and to say a few words about his story and his experience with the Kidney Wellness Hub. By way of background, David is currently waiting for a kidney transplant and has been on dialysis for the past 2 years. David first became aware at the age of 25 that his kidneys were starting to drop in function due to IgA nephropathy. Oh, I got that. When I first talked to David several months ago and he shared his story, he did not know anything about the Kidney Wellness Hub. So you've spent a little bit of time on it now, David, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. You basically told my whole story, so thank you very much. Wellness Hub. So I was diagnosed at about 25 to 30 years old. I can't remember exactly, but I had IgA nephropathy, and I still do. And the kidneys were slowly dropping. 2 years ago, I got to the point where I had about 25% kidney function, and the pain was becoming unbearable. I traveled for business. I was in hotel rooms alone a lot, and I would be itching with the renal itch for hours and cramping in the middle of my nights, and then doing 8 to 12-hour days every day of the week while I was working, and then all night long not being able to sleep. This is a game changer, the Kidney Wellness Hub. I always wanted something I could go to get some information, but all I had was Google. And as many of you know, there's a lot of misinformation on there. Try punching the word severe itch into there and see how many things come up. So I'm very grateful to be able to share today. I've started going on the Kidney Wellness Hub. I found it to be so far very beneficial. I even joined the cooking class. I'm on there. Now, whether or not I show up on that day is a whole different thing. But I would like to learn how to cook properly. I'm lazy. I don't do anything that I'm supposed to do related to my kidneys. My diet, can McDonald's be on that program? If not, I'm not going. No, just joking. Anyway, I just wanted to express my gratitude towards this program. If I'd had something like that 2 years ago that I could go to and use, I would have found it very beneficial. And so I'm really looking forward to kind of diving in a little deeper. And thank you very much for having me out. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Dave, for sharing your story and your insights. And thank you to all our panelists today. Because we are so tight on time, what we're going to do is because we have an interactive room, we're going to take our questions in the interactive room, and it's in the Granville room. We're there all day today, all day tomorrow, so please do stop by, visit. Happy to share any additional information, and as I said, I see questions on here, so please do stop by. We're more than happy to address them. And in closing, thank you very much for your time today. We hope the presentation has provided you with a bit of a sense of the Kidney Wellness Hub, why we embarked on this journey, and most importantly, how it can be a resource to your patients, all those in the kidney community, with their overall health and well-being. So as Teresa said, please do explore, reach out with any ideas. We're really open. And from the Kidney Wellness Health team, wishing everyone a path filled of good health and well-being. Thank you very much.